Greetings Warhammer fans, and welcome to another video. This time it's a small magnetization tutorial. Basically what we have here is a basic Space Marine Sergeant. Chainsword, bolt pistol, nothing special. You want, if you're a player like me who doesn't assemble his miniatures in a certain way and is basically stuck with the equipment that you glued on, if you want some more options for different games, different war gear for different opponents, you want to magnetize them, your miniatures. So let's say you're facing, I don't know, Imperial Guard, and he and his squad are just there for taking out the regular troops. You basically don't need any upgrade from that. But if you're facing Necrons, a Power Fist might be handy, right? Well, let's give them a Power Fist. Will you? Here we go. But not just that, a Plasma Pistol might be a nice upgrade too, right? Oh, here's got the Plasma Pistol. So, options, right? What else do we have? Well, Power Sword and Stormbolter, actually. These 6 weapons. I didn't, didn't bother with giving him a bolt gun, because I'm not using bolt guns on sergeants. I'm using anything from that. So how can you acquire this sort of flexibility without, well, too much work? I mean, don't get me wrong, there is work involved, obviously. So let me take you through the steps that I used. First, let's have a look at I magnetized these 2 arms differently, as I'm sure you already saw. I put a magnet right behind the hand on this arm with a gun. But here I put it to the shoulder. Why that? Simple. While each shooting weapon, while each gun is basically attached the same way, just swap out the hand with the gun and you're done. This works for this arm only for the chainsword and the power sword. You know, you could cut the hand off his hand right there and basically just swap out the hands. Just one problem. Look at the Power Fist. Power Fist is going all the way up to the elbow joint. Not just the Power Fist doesn't end here. It goes, the whole thing goes up to here. So I basically would have to cut the arm off here, and that's much more difficult than simply swapping out the entire arm. So how do you do that? Well, first you have a look in which way this, we start with this arm here, the arm attaches, so you know where to place the magnet. Luckily, there's plenty of room there. So you take yourself, I don't know, I use my scalpel knife here, and right in the middle where that magnet is supposed to be, I point a small hole which serves as a guidance basically for your 1mm hobby drill. And when I've got a magnet here, let's take this Orc North, for example, which I already prepared. You can see figures are hollow. So you then carefully with a lot of control drill your hole in there. You want it to be straight. You don't want to drill this a hole like this and basically come out in the back somewhere. Drill slow and with a lot of control. I always suggest, even if you have a Dremel or any other drilling tool, electrical drilling tool, don't use it. Better use a hand drill, which allows you much more control. So and better use the small drill first, which is obviously too small to fit a magnet in there. But you need this hole that you drill with this as a guidance for thicker drill bit, because if you don't do that, you will inevitably drift off while drilling, because that thick drill is much harder to control. So again, you drill a guidance hole and then drill the same hole with this, which basically has almost the same size for the magnets that I use in here. They are about, don't have a ruler here, I would say 3, maybe 4 millimeters in with diameter. Well, then let's use the knob here. You drill again carefully and manually. Drill 2 holes in there. Let me get a magnet here. Since usually almost every finger is hollow inside the torso, which is bad because the magnet won't sit as good as if there's plastic behind it. But if you drill the hole basically the right size, it shouldn't matter too much. Don't make the hole too big, because then the magnet won't properly sit in there, and you have to put some modeling putty, some green stuff in there. Look at this. Again, this drill is a bit too small, but you can easily make up for that. After you drill the hole, you simply keep drilling, but not pressing in this direction, but more in a circular direction to widen the hole a bit, just a bit, until the magnets, you probably can't see that here, they fit barely in here. So once you've got the right size for that hole, put super glue on the side, and well, I usually do it like this. Take one magnet off here, and I use this is a file. You can, if you have a look here, it sits even at the tip there. I use this for putting the magnet in, and then of course you need to hold it down with your finger, because if you pull it out like this, it will pull the magnet out of the socket again. And then leave the super glue to set properly. Don't go testing like, oh, is it dry already, and then you pull the magnet out of the socket. Leave it for a few hours. Maybe I'm too careful, but better safe than sorry, right? So once you start, here you might see the white around the magnet. Here I drilled the hole too wide and had to put some modeling putty in there. Beginner's mistake, my first magnetized figure. So once you have this done, and while this is setting, you have a look on the pieces which are going to be attached there, and you have a look where exactly you need to drill the hole here to make it sit properly. It doesn't really, you don't have to make the magnets sit on each other perfectly. If they are a bit off, it doesn't matter. These neodymium magnets, they are really, really strong. So try to be as accurate as possible, but don't worry if you get a bit off. Not a problem. Well, then basically the same game. Drill a thin hole, but be careful. This time you don't have as much space, so drill carefully. Sorry. Use the bigger thing to carve out just the amount of plastic that you need to make the magnet sit in there flush. You don't want, this is your plastic piece, and you don't want your magnet to be sticking out a bit. Just make it as flush as possible, you know, because if you don't, it might end up a bit like mine here. You can probably see there's a small gap here. One of the two magnets is sticking out a bit, either the one in the chest, but I think it's the one in the arm. Make them sit in the plastic piece as flush and neat as possible. And well, same thing, then put super glue in here, put the magnet in, watch the right polarity, of course. Nothing sucks more than putting in your magnets and having them set, and until you realize, oh, they won't go in because you put in the wrong polarity. And of course it goes for every piece you put on there. You need to basically you need to really pay attention to that, which side to put the magnet in. So that was the easy arm, which has a lot of space to drill the magnet, the hole for the magnet. What about the other side? What did I do here? Have a close look. This arm, since I attached the magnet right here, not in the shoulder, you can see there's much less space. The arm is basically just a tiny bit wider than the actual magnet. This might not look like it here because I inserted the magnet at a part where the armor is a bit thicker. You know, right behind it, it gets a bit slimmer again. So you need to be really exact here. Again, use some sharp tool. Find the middle of this circle. Make a small hole, which basically is just there to prevent your drill from slipping off once you start. As soon as you are in the plastic a bit, you're good. While you drill, just again be careful not to deviate in any direction. You don't want to come out on the side here somewhere. Make it a straight and exact drill basically. But now it's getting more the hard part comes. Of course you still need the big one, which again is barely fitting in this arm here. Again, no electrical tool, use your hand drill and carefully, with a lot of control, drill just enough hole there to fit the whole magnet in. I managed to make him sit nice and flush here. As for the hands are actually too thin to drill a hole in there to hide the magnet. So I basically just glued the magnet right behind the hand, which might seem as if it would be easily noticed once this is on the battlefield, but have a look here. Now it stands out because the magnet is shiny. Once the magnet's side is painted like the armor, like a part of the armor, nobody will notice. You see, I don't have a painted version here, but again, once the side here, which you can see shining here now, once this is painted blue in this case, nobody will notice it. So there's really no problem in simply making a straight cut to make the magnet sit on as much surface as possible, glue it on with super glue, done. And of course, same thing here, watch the polarity. Watch the polarity. So yeah, it is additional work, of course, but it is not hard if you're careful. And for me, for someone who likes to re-equip his characters for basically every battle, not characters or sergeants or whatever, it is worth the extra work. And I also consider this, I don't know how to call it, making or keeping the figures ready for the future. You don't know which pieces of equipment, let's say a Space Marine Sergeant, will get in the future. Maybe something new is coming. If you glue these pieces on, you don't have any chance of using them. So as soon as there's something new coming out, just as an example, maybe he can use Lightning Claw, which I doubt, but maybe at some point in the future sergeants have access to Lightning Claws. A pair or one. I can easily give him, well, at least one. So again, I think it is worth the extra work. It isn't hard. Just be a bit careful, watch the polarity, and in the next video, which I'm going to prepare right now, I'm going to show you an Imperial Guard Hellhound / Devil Dog / Bane Wolf, where I magnetize the weapons, and yeah, there we go. See you until next time.